TWAB was too long, you didn't want to read it? I got you. First, we have Bungie talking about how they're going to do another holistic pass on the ability energy economy to bring PvP gameplay closer to a 60-40 gunplay ability split. Now we get into the first of the ability and subclass changes. Restoration is getting a slight nerf, having Restoration ×1, having its healing reduced from 25 to 20 HP per second in PvP, and from 50 to 40 HP per second in PvE. Restoration ×2 is being reduced from 40 to 32.5 HP per second in PvP, and 80 to 65 HP per second in PvE. Ember of Torches and Ember of Solace are getting slight nerfs. Ember of Torches is having its Radiant base duration reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. It also applies a -10 discipline penalty. Ember of Solace now also provides a bonus 50% to Radiant and Restoration duration rather than just 5 seconds. Knock 'em Down is getting nerfed. It now provides 15% bonus damage resistance to the 6-shot golden gun and no longer provides bonus duration. It also no longer provides bonus damage resistance to the 3-shot golden gun. And Blade Barrage is getting a large nerf, having its projectiles reduced from 5 to 3 per group, with a total of 4 less knives across the entire super. Celestial Fire is getting its consistency improved. Now in a close range auto melee battle, if Celestial Fire procs, you will no longer lose by default. Void Overshield is getting a fix to where it will now have a 50% damage resistance in PvE rather than just the current 25%. Nova Bomb Vortex is getting a buff primarily for PvP, having its initial projectile speed increased by 21%, having the radius of the inward pool increased by 17%, and having the strength of the inward pool increased by 20%. Shield Bash's suppression is becoming more consistent. Both Tether supers, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver, are having their identities separated. Deadfall, the single shot tether, will have its lifetime increased from 8 to 12 seconds, and Mobius Quiver, the multi-shot tether, will have its lifetime decreased from 8 to 6 seconds. Touch of Thunder Storm Grenades are getting the attention that everybody's been asking for. Bungie says Touch of Thunder Storm Grenades base roaming duration is being decreased from 5 to 4 seconds. It is also decreasing the bonus lifetime granted by the Spark of Magnitude fragment down from 2 to 1.5 seconds. They are also adding actual visuals to tell when it is an enemy storm grenade. Ballistic Slam is getting a whopping 16% damage buff in PvE. Expect to see that in GMs. Tempest Strike is also getting a 30% damage buff. Arc Soul is getting its damage nearly doubled. Both Warlock melees, Ball Lightning and Chain Lightning, are getting buffed, with Ball Lightning having its travel range increased from 27.5 meters to 35 meters, and having Chain Lightning increasing its damage in PvE by a whopping 50%. Chaos Reach is having its super cooldown time reduced from 9 minutes and 16 seconds to 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Stasis Slow is becoming stronger, so now enemies will be slowed 10% more when affected. Pulse Snap Grenades will now have 0.5 seconds of tracking rather than just the single track as soon as it hits the ground. Duskfield Grenades are getting a buff, with the slow stack application rate being increased by 13%. The Hunter aspect, Winter's Shroud, and the Titan aspect, Cryoclasm, are both having their fragment slots increased from 1 to 2. The Warlock aspect, Glacial Harvest, is having its cooldown on Stasis Shard creation reduced from 15 to 10 seconds. The Whisper of Rending Stasis Fragment will now provide bonus damage to all primary weapons rather than just kinetic primary weapons. The new dungeon for next season will be releasing on December 9th at 9 AM, the first Friday after the release of the season. If you're on PlayStation 5, make sure you're actually using the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Apparently there's lots of people not doing that. And finally, Stadia is still dead. If you use that platform, make sure you set up cross-save by January 18th or you will lose absolutely everything. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you around.